In this video tutorial, we are going to look at how to create a score in your storyline training. We're going to create a variable that we call score, and we're going to keep track of a score value in that variable. Then we're also going to look at how to add buttons to your slide and be able to create triggers that will add a value into that variable. All right, so let's get started. So we'll open up one of our slides. So right now we've got a slide. I've made some buttons here on the screen, but they don't have any triggers associated with them right now. And we have just a regular slide here. So what I want to do is I want to turn this into a freeform slide so that I can then turn these buttons that I've created into buttons that can have triggers associated with them and can be used as test questions. All right, so we go over to the Insert tab and we select Convert to Freeform Slide. It gives you some options here of different things you can select. In this example, we're going to choose the Pick One and select OK. So you can see it's changed our slide around a little bit. We still have the slide view, which was the original view we had, but now we also have a form view. So we can use this form view to select our buttons. So if we click in the first choice, you see that we have a drop-down list. And as we move down these drop-down items, there's a little thumbnail over on the right-hand side, and you can see that the item that we move our cursor over is selected in red on that little thumbnail. So that helps you determine what items you're choosing for your pick one. So we're going to just go down and we'll fill these in. All right, and then you can select the correct answer. So in this case, it's B. I'll select that. You've got feedback down here, and then you've got more. So if you want to send them to specific slides and have branching, you can use that. So we'll select this, and we will send them to this slide. And if they get it incorrect, we will send them to this slide. You can see now that it's put this little icon down there, a little branching icon to show that we've got a branching, that we're using the branching feature. Okay, so we've got our slide, and we've got our answers, and we've selected the correct answer. So now what we need to do is we need to create the variable which we're going to store the value in. So we go right over here to manage our project variables, and we're going to create a new variable, and we'll call it score. So I'm going to go down here to the little plus symbol, select create a new variable. We will call it score. Always want to make sure to use descriptive names when you're creating variables. It makes it easier for you to be able to determine your variables when you're looking at a bunch of them and determine what they're doing. So the type of variable is we're going to choose a number variable because we want to be able to store a number value for our score. Right now we're going to set the default value to 0 and select OK. So now we have our variable. We've created that. We have our buttons, but now we need to create triggers on our buttons. And then we need to make sure that the correct button, when that's selected, that adds a value to our score. So we're going to go through here, and we're going to create triggers. And what I want is I want to submit the interaction. It's going to be pick one. And that's when user clicks. And we can move this out of the way so we can see what we're selecting. But as we drop that down, we want it to be the rectangle right there, and you can see the red outline around it when you select it. We say OK. And the second one here, we're actually going to add an additional value to it. This is going to be the correct answer, and this is going to add 10 points to our score. So I'm going to come back and take care of that one, but first we'll just go through and we'll quickly take care of these other ones and add the triggers. So we've got submit interactions. It's going to be pick one. And it's when they click that rectangle. Okay, so let's set up this one. This is going to be our correct answer, and we're going to add a value to our variable score. So I'm selecting that. I'm going to create a new trigger. And for the action, I'm going to drop this down, and I'm going to select adjust variable. And we will select our variable score. And I'm going to add to the value, and we'll put 10 right here. When user clicks, and we're saying the rectangle, making sure that the correct one's selected right there, and we say OK. All right, and then we're also going to have this submit the interaction, just like the other ones. Go down here, pick one when user clicks, and we'll make sure the correct rectangle is selected. All right, there it is. Okay, so when we look at this, we look at the trigger over here, we're saying when this rectangle is selected, we are going to add 10 points to the variable score when the user clicks that rectangle. And then after that, once the value is stored in score, we're also going to submit the interaction. And then with these other ones, we've got the submit the interaction for if they select any of these other ones. All right, so let's check this out. So the way we're going to test it is we will create a text box up here that we can check the score. So type score. Put that up here. Make this white. And we will do a text output. So we're going to go here. We're going to do reference. And we're going to select our variable score. Select OK, and we will make this white as well. OK. So now when we get this question right, when we test it, we should see 10 right here. So let's go ahead and preview this. Do this scene. Okay, so we can see our score is 0 right now. So when we select this H600 button right here, it should be the correct answer and should change the score to 10. All right, and there we go. And it is working. It's taken us to the next slide, and it increased our score to 10. We don't see it on this slide right here, but we did see it on the past slide. So that is how you set up a score feature in your storyline training and create a little gamification in your training. So we went over how to set up the variable that we use in storyline uh, to track the score, and then also how to set up the buttons and add the triggers to add the value to that score variable. All right, I hope this has helped. All right, take care.